Yesterday, West Ham United announced the season ticket price increase, and in this show, we're going to have a little bit of a debate, a little bit of a discussion about whether those price rises were fair and they align with the current economical situation. That's all coming up next, right here on West Ham Unofficial. See you in a moment. Yes, welcome back to West Ham Unofficial. I hope you are all well. I've had a little bit of a break and I'm back here returning on West Ham Unofficial. Just before we get into it, my preview with a couple of guests coming up tonight for the Newcastle game that, of course, takes place Saturday lunchtime. Listen, they're lingering around us, Newcastle, so it's a big game. The preview for that is at 7:30 tonight right here on West Ham Unofficial. So hit that bell icon once you've hit and subscribe so you're notified whenever we do come live with that show a little bit later on. That should be a good one. But something's just been alerted to my attention. It caused a bit of a storm yesterday, actually, on social media. A little bit bizarre. West Ham announced the season ticket renewal date and price increase yesterday ahead of the 24-25 season at London Stadium. And it's caused a little bit of anger, a little bit of frustration and infuriation as well because of what's happened. I'm going to go through and dissect, just show you all the price increases, the percentage they've gone up season by season, so we can really dissect what this does and whether it's going to improve the football club's revenue. Of course, it's been a price increase, so it's going to bring more money into the football club, but is it warranted? Is it just us being treated like customers once again? Put your thoughts into the chat as we go through the show. I'm going to say my bit to start with, then we'll get your guys' thoughts a little bit later on in the show. But without further ado, I'm going to head over to my screen with the price increases on. Let's have a little look then. So this was collaborated, made and done by Sean Whetstone at West Ham Football on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. And this, I think, quite nicely puts together the 23-24 prices of this season's price, what people pay for their season ticket this season, which is here. And then you've got what people will pay next season, which they've got to pay by the start of June if they want to secure their seat for next season at the Premier. Then you've got the amount that it's increased in pounds, and then the percentage it's increased season by season as a percentage. So look, initially it's gone up, as you can see by the third column along there in the increase. Every single band bracket. So this is for an adult. Obviously, the over 66 and the under 21s and the under 18s are different, but every single season ticket price has gone up. Some have gone up more than others. Obviously, this has been thought about, and they've come to this conclusion long and hard, and this is what they've decided. So you've got the 1966 West, the 1966 Billy Bonds. That's the creme de la creme. That's the best seats in the London Stadium, according to West Ham in terms of the prices. So the most expensive seat in the London Stadium to buy as a season ticket this season was £1,620. That's increased for next season to £1,720. It's a £100 increase, just over 6%. On the increase for that. Then you go down to the Billy Bonds, which is £300 less. There's an £85 increase and so on. You can read it, it's there. I'm not going to bore you and read it all off. It's there. But the key one is that band 3. I think there's more band 3 than any in the London Stadium. That's where most people are band 3. That seems to be pretty standard in the London Stadium. That's gone up from 745 to 790. It's not just a £45 increase though, because last season it went up 50 quid as well. So over 2 seasons, that seat has gone up over £100. And as you go down into the upper tiers, which is band 4, 5 and 6, there's a smaller increase, but albeit that increase is still there, whether it's £40 or £35. So look, we still have the cheapest season ticket in the Premier League, and some opposition fans are going, why are you moaning? I've got all the other club season ticket prices in front of me here. The cheapest adult season ticket at the Emirates for Arsenal is 1,200 quid. I mean, that's 1,200 quid gets you band 1 and a bit of change as well at West Ham. But then again, this is Arsenal. Arsenal are a bigger football club. They probably can charge a bit more. Then you go on to the other London clubs. Tottenham's cheapest season ticket is 856 quid. So that's a bit cheaper. Chelsea's cheapest season ticket is just shy of 600 quid. Now, look, our cheapest season ticket for an adult is £310. Look, that's good. When you think about it, you've got £310. You subtract that by 19, it's £16 a game. But then again, you're sat in band 6, you're sat very high up. You're sat as far as you can go, right at the back. You're a million miles away from the action. Now, for some people, they like that, and that's their preference. But it's that price for a reason, because obviously, where you are, the location of that isn't the best, and that's why it's the cheapest. Now, obviously, the more you go down, the more expensive it gets, because in West Ham's opinion, the better the seat, or whether you're standing, it gets. So look, I think overall, I mean, this price increase, it will provide approximately a £2 million increase in ticket revenue for the club. So last season, I think we made 41 million. I think it was in ticket revenue in terms of season tickets and cup schemes, all the rest of it. So the approximation that Sean Whetstone has made, that this will increase our ticket revenue next season by £2 million. £2 million is a lot of money, and but I think the way you've just got to step back. And opposition fans have gone, "Why are you moaning? That's a really cheap season ticket." And for some it is, but you've also got to understand the experience, and you've got to acknowledge that as an opposition fan, the experience at the London Stadium probably lends into why the season ticket is so cheap, because it's not fantastic, is it? We die for like the Tottenham Stadium, and that pains me to say, 'cause it's a brilliant stadium. I've been there twice, the Tottenham Stadium. It's an amazing football stadium. It's a purpose-built football stadium. Our stadium isn't a football stadium. Let's get this right here. And it probably should be one of the cheapest in the Premier League, because of the surrounding, because everything that's happened and all the factors that you take into consideration. If it wasn't as cheap, in inverted commas, as it is, and then I don't think they'd sell what they want, their desired amount of season tickets, in my opinion. There's always people that will pay it no matter what, in a sort of bracket. But again, it's just taking advantage, because the club know that people are going to pay it. It's not hundreds and hundreds of pounds increase. You've got £100 on top if you're in 1966 West, which is just not good for them, is it? I mean, you're paying £1,600 as it is. It's going to £1,700, which is just unnecessary, perhaps. I don't know. Look, of course, this impacts all the match-going fans, and it's expensive to go to football. And look, when you take travel into consideration, when you take food into consideration, it's an expensive day out, and it's a day out that some people can't afford, and they rely on how cheap our prices are. And that's evaporating quite quickly, which is a real big shame, because when you put last season's prices up against this season's prices, is there really any need for that increase? They could have frozen it, and I think they'd have received quite a few plaudits, West Ham, if they'd have gone, "Look, we don't particularly need the money. We're not desperate for that extra £2 million. Of course, we'd like it. And as a business, they will take that £2 million every single day of the week. And I don't blame them for that. But once again, we're treated as customers. They didn't need to do this price increase. They could have frozen it and went, you know what, taking into consideration the economical state of the country, people are finding it quite hard currently. And, football isn't a necessity like food and paying rent and mortgage and all the rest of it is. Football is just something that takes people's mind off of their everyday, sometimes strenuous life. And increasing the price, it's just not necessary, is it? For what they've done, they're going to make more money out of it, but really, they're making enough money as it is. That £2 million isn't going to be straight implemented into buying players, is it? It's just not. It's going to go in Brady's back pocket, most likely, or Sullivan's back pocket at the end of the day. So look, it wasn't needed, and I think the criticism that it's received is probably warranted, in my opinion. I understand people's frustrations when, once again, they're putting this out in March. Is there any need to put it out in March? It's not needed, and for the deadline to be in June, well, hang on, we've only just finished. We finished the final day of the season on the 19th of May, for goodness sake, and we've got to pay our season ticket for next season by the 3rd of June. Is there any need for that deadline to be so early for people? Obviously, there's different finance plans that you can go on, but you've got to pay interest on that, which in the end means you pay more money. And it's just, the price of going to football is going up. Like, listen, everything's going up. We understand that. And maybe to an extent this was needed, but the amount that it's gone up, 10%, some seats, 6% for the majority, it's not needed. And at the end of the day, the club could have easily frozen it and went, you know, we don't need to. We're going to put the fans first. We're going to keep the same price as last season, because a lot of people won't renew with this. This is quite a dramatic increase. If you look back historically, you know, this is quite a bold move from West Ham. Obviously, they're hoping that it pays off, and it probably will, because there's a hell of a lot of people that will pay it no matter what, because it's ritual, because they've been a season ticket holder for 30, 40 years, and because it's gone up 50 quid, that's not going to change many people's minds. But some people will be forced into, you know, some people just simply won't be able to afford that extra 50 quid or be able to justify it in their life, to pay that extra 50, 60, 70 quid, depending on where your seat is in the London Stadium. The club could have just given people a helping hand here as well, you know, especially people that go home and away. And look, that's, you know, that's their choice if they go home and away. But it costs enough as it is. People spend thousands of pounds a year for this football club, and it just seems like a little bit of a smack in the face. You know, there you go, after that, that potentially wasn't needed in the grand scheme of things. Michael's in the chat. Thanks for joining us. He says, "Afternoon, Jake. It was due an increase. We are still cheaper than the greedy clubs. We are. But then you've got to factor in, this isn't a proper football stadium. The experience isn't what most people would like and would want. So that's got to be taken into consideration. Look, we want to brand ourselves the cheapest season ticket, which we do, and we've remained to do this season. Look, if you want to sit right at the back, as you know, for me, if I wanted to sit right at the back in band 6, it's just over 100 quid, which is brilliant. But then again, if you want to sit in the lower tier and participate in the atmosphere more, you've got to sit in band 2 or 3. And for an adult, you're talking £700, £800, £900, £1,000 to sit in band 2, nearly. You know, it just seems like it's a little bit out of touch, this increase. And a lot of people have been really angered by it, and you can't blame people, because, you know, most people will pay it because it's just what they do, unfortunately. Well, not unfortunately, because it's their choice. And obviously, you don't just pay it and get nothing back. You get that season ticket for the season. And for people that have built up their away points, they can't just, you know, not have their season ticket, because they'll lose all their away points they've built up for years and years and years. So look, it is what it is. It's just a bit of a, was it really needed from West Ham? A little bit frustrating, not needed, but it is what it is. Put your thoughts into the comment section down below. What do you think of this price increase? Do you think it was warranted? Do you think it was needed? Do you think it was unnecessary? Put your thoughts into the comment section down below. Like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'll be back at 7:30 tonight with Mike and Gary to discuss our game against Newcastle. That takes place Saturday lunchtime, live on TNT Sports. If you're in band 1, you're gone up 70 quid, band 2 60, band 3 45, band 4 40 quid, or band 5 or 6 in the upper tier. Your season ticket is going to go up £35 next season. You've got to pay it by the 3rd of June, which is just a little bit bizarre. That light is really bright on me there, isn't it? Just a little bit bizarre that you've got to pay it by the 3rd of June. You know, we're barely over last season before we've got to pay next season's, which simply some people can't afford or can't justify. But look, it is what it is. A couple more comments. Football is just a business now. They will get tourists buying. It's very true, you know, and to be fair, that's a better outlet for the football club, because I see for the Liverpool game they've released, it's now category AAA. We've gone from category A to category AA to category AAA. If you want to sit in the best seat in the house, and you want to buy a general sale ticket for it, for Liverpool at home, it's 120 quid. So from a business perspective, people, or West Ham, want people buying general sale tickets because it generates more revenue. Because, you know, you're not going to find the season ticket. If you divide, you know, left, you know, just for the example's sake, if you divide 1,720 by 19, you know, Christ, that's £90. That's £90, but still £120 is more at the end of the day. So look, from their perspective, they probably want people to buy on general sale because it gives them more money. But look, it is what it is. Helen says mine has gone up for £40, just over £2 again, which isn't too bad. But yes, they could have frozen it, and not sure why they didn't. Just on comparison, I was paying £600 when at the Bowling. Yeah, look, it's a fair point, and so yours has gone up just over £2 a game. Was it needed? I'm not sure, but yeah, they could have frozen it quite easily, because the amount of money they've made this season from it was quite enough. But it is what it is, isn't it? Thank you, Michael. Cheers for joining us. Probably by June, because they have to start because they got to start relocating fans as well, because people that want, you know, people on the waiting list that get season tickets as a result of people not renewing, and then people that want to relocate from band 1 to band 6 if they don't want to pay it or whatever. So look, it is what it is. Is it acceptable? No, listen, we can't do anything about it. It's done was done. Acceptable, I suppose. It's not absolutely astronomical. It's not ridiculous, but then again, it wasn't needed in the grand scheme of things. It's just a little bit frustrating, and for some people, it will be the tipping point. For some people, it will be the deciding factor that means they don't renew their season ticket. Now, for the club, that doesn't mean anything at all. We're customers. They'll sell those general sale tickets for more money, and they'll be more happy in the grand scheme of things. But look, if they want to keep fans there, if they want to keep the loyalty there with the fans, they could have frozen it this season, and then we would have revisited it the next season, because we've got the cheapest season ticket in the league. But then again, you've got to take into consideration the experience that we have is probably one of the worst in the league. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, and it will be interesting to see how many renew next season. Will there be many? I think it was it about 91% last season renewed their season ticket. I think it was 97% the season before when we were brilliant. 97% renewed. It dropped to 91%, which was probably a reflection of the increases that we had last season. So it will be interesting when the data comes out in June to know whether we've maintained that sort of 91% threshold of people that renewed their season ticket, or whether I probably predict it will drop down into the 80s in terms of percentage of people that renew their season ticket. It's an interesting debate. Everyone's got their opinion on it. But in my humble opinion, I think it just, we could have done without it as a club and a fan base. We give them enough money, and that price increase is just a bit of a slap in the face that wasn't needed. But look, thanks for watching. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new. See you 7:30 tonight for our Newcastle preview. But until then, come on, you Irons, and I'll see you soon right here on West Ham Unofficial. Season ticket prices have gone up. Will we pay them? Yes, but that's just what we do, isn't it? We'll see you soon. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.